Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at, to me, one of the most surprising products that I did not think was going to be very good, strictly based on how much it was being advertised. You guys have probably seen this mouse maybe advertised all over social media, similar to I have, and you probably piqued a little bit of interest in it. You're like, some of these claims seem a little bit too good to be true. I was shocked that most of it is pretty true. The mouse that we're going to be taking a look at today is the Pwnage Ultra Custom Wireless Gaming Mouse. And this thing is really freaking good. I was shocked at how good it was. Before we continue with the video, just let you guys know we are getting really close to hitting 10,000 subscribers. I would appreciate it if you guys would drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel and you enjoy the content, which I'm pretty sure that you will. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for helping us out, get to 10K subs and beyond. Let's continue with the review. The first thing I want to talk about is the customization of this mouse, because that is one of this mouse's main selling points, is how incredibly easy it is to customize this mouse. So Pwnage's plan with this mouse is obviously to release the product and then come out with some more shells and colors and stuff like that. And you should easily be able to swap out the mouse buttons as well as the back shell. And all of that is super duper easy. You don't need any tools to do it, and you can actually do it in less than 120 seconds and probably less than a minute if you get really good at it. You pull off the back, you pull out the mouse buttons, everything is just held in place by magnets, and you can even swap out the DPI button. You can take out the battery if you want to and play with it in wired mode with the included USB-C paracord. And it really is an incredible thing. Like, if you pull out the battery, you want to play with it wired, it's about 57 grams. You put the battery back in and you even use the heavier shell that does not have the holes cut out of it. It's about 72-ish grams, I want to say, for a wireless mouse, and that happens to be lighter than the Razer Viper, which is pretty surprising because it is a lot larger mouse too. This is more of an ergo mouse, and the Razer Viper Ultimate is a little bit more of like a medium-sized mouse. So it's impressive that it was able to be a little bit lighter weight than that. And I feel like Pwnage has the right idea of the future of mice customization, you know, being able to swap out the top shells and the mouse buttons super quickly, having just a standard USB-C connector that you can just easily your own color custom pattern paracord to play with if you want to play wired, or just to have it spice up your desk setup a little bit too. Like, I really like where they're going, and I hope that other mouse companies pick up on this as well. It does feature RGB too. I kind of thought it was weird, the fact that the RGB, every time you pick up the mouse and you move it, it turns off. It's okay. It's similar to how SteelSeries did it, but when you put the mouse back down and you leave it alone, sometimes it thinks that you still haven't picked up for some reason, and it works okay. But honestly, I wish I could just disable that. If you want, you can just play with the RGB off. Moving on to the feel and build quality. So this mouse feels extremely similar to the glorious Model D. The biggest difference I can tell with this mouse over the Model D that I like a lot better is the fact that the side buttons feel like these are in the appropriate place, whereas on the Model D, it felt like that back side button was just a little bit too far back. And yes, you can adjust to it, but this one just felt perfect out of the box. The switches that they use are Omron 20mm. I'll drop a quick sound test so you guys can hear how the switches, as well as that buttery smooth scroll wheel, hear how everything sounds. I think that everything sounds pretty decent. I have no complaints or qualms. They don't sound as crispy as the Glorious or even my in-game XM1, but they still sound pretty decent and they function just fine. So I did want to address the durability of this mouse too, just with like some really basic stuff. Like, I wasn't gonna try and break this mouse with like impractical use, but you know, I wanted to see, you know, with just like some simple like squeezing and stuff like that, if this mouse had any excessive creaking or anything really, and I was unable to find it. I even compared it to my XM1. I'll let you guys see and hear this quick durability test, because I was really impressed by the quality of the plastics that they use and the construction. I didn't hear anything that sounded really worrying. Let me know if you guys hear anything in the comment section, if it sounded like something was wrong with the copy that I have, but I think it sounded perfectly fine. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about in terms of the build quality. Somehow, some way, I don't know how, I don't know where they found these things, but this needs to be something that they need to do completely separate from this mouse, because this mouse has the best PTFE feet I have tried on a mouse yet. I don't know how. These mouse are better than all the aftermarket feet that I just tried in my video, I want to say about a month ago. If they sold these feet separately, I would buy them and use them on all my mice. That's how good they, seriously, that's how good they are. So Pwnage, if you guys decide to make your own Pwnage mouse feet for other mice, which I highly recommend it, and I thought I was crazy at first, but dude, these feet are really freaking good. So make that like a side business or something. These PTF feet are that good. The mouse sensor performance is just fine. They're using a 3335 sensor. This one is just another PNW sensor. It works just fine. I can't tell the difference between this, the 3360 that's in the Model O and the Model D, and the 3389 that's in my in-game XM1. And frankly, like the other Logitech sensors, the Razer sensors, they all track relatively well nowadays, and it's really hard to tell the sensor performance apart. 1000 hertz polling rate, so there's no issues there. It's all customizable in their software, which is pretty decent. It's not bad. It's a little bit rough around the edges, but they're a really small company, and they have barely started shipping these mice out. So I'm gonna give them kind of a pass on the software not being the prettiest, but at least all the functionality is there. But I digress, the sensor performance is just fine. Now in terms of pricing, this mouse starts at $80 for everything that you guys see in the box. If you wanna see what comes in the box, check out my unboxing video. I will have it linked in the description below. But in short, you get the mouse, you get 2 different mouse buttons, the white and the black, and then you get 4 different backs. So you get 2 flat, 2 with the holes cut in, and the paracord. And you get all that for 80 bucks. And honestly, for 80 bucks, that's not a bad price. Then if you go up to the $120 edition, you get everything that's included in the $80 version. You also get their 4 new colors for the mouse 1 and 2 buttons, as well as the back cover. So you're gonna have a lot more color options. That way, if you got some different color keycaps that you wanna match, or you wanna match the rest of the RGB theme that you got going on with your setup, it should be a little bit easier to do with that because you'll have some color options. And like I said, I hope that other large mouse manufacturers start to follow this trend at least a little bit and make it easier to customize your mouse, because I just think that that would be really cool. I don't know exactly how they would do it. I mean, Pwnage just pretty much pioneered the easiest way to do it as of right now, to do shelf swaps and stuff without having to take apart your entire mouse. So I hope that some other companies can try to replicate that somehow, some way, at least to try to make customizing a little bit easier. The only improvements I can say that I would want them to make to this mouse, maybe improve the battery life, because the way that I use the mouse, I wouldn't call the battery life bad, but I wouldn't call it fantastic either. Maybe it's just the way that I'm using it, because I opted not to turn it off when I was done using the computer. But I come home, use the mouse for about, 4 to 5 hours. Next day, same thing. Next day, maybe around the 3-ish, 4-ish hour mark, the mouse would die. So that will put me at about 14 to 15 hours of realistic use, leaving the mouse on with the RGB in the wireless mode, which would lead up to about 3 days of use, which is probably pretty close to Pwnage's 60 hours of office use. So I guess that's pretty accurate. Now, if I had been a little bit more conservative and I had turned off the battery after I was done using the mouse, I'm pretty sure I probably could have had it last longer. I just did that so that you guys would know if you guys were using this mouse realistically, you just use it, you forget to turn it off, you come back the next day, is the mouse gonna be dead? No, so you'll have about 2.5 days of 5-hour usage, which is pretty realistic, I would think, if this is your main mouse for work, or if you're just a really hardcore gamer and want the best performance. It's good to know that your mouse has pretty decent battery life. I'm not gonna say it's as good as the Razer Viper, because that mouse had some incredible standby time. This one is nowhere near that, not even close. So I would like them to work on that, if they could update that somehow, some way with software to improve the standby time. And then other than that, I don't know, man. I'm really impressed, because I'm hard pressed to find anything bad with this mouse. Maybe the copy that I got happened to be perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. But as long as the rest of their manufacturing is very similar to this, I don't think anybody's gonna have any problems with this mouse because this mouse is really good. If you're looking for a little bit more of an improved glorious Model D or something of a similar shape, I think Zowie had like the original mouse that was very similar in shape to this and the Model D. If you're looking for an improved version of both of those mice for around 80 bucks, that's also wireless, I would get it because it's comfortable, it's wireless, it's got decent battery life, it's got RGB if you like it, and on top of that, it's super customizable, or at least it will be super customizable in the very near future. And once again, I hope that other mouse companies figure out how to make their mice super customizable just as easily as well. I'm really excited to stick around and see what Pwnage is going to be able to do in the future. If they're going to release some more products, maybe Pwnage will come out with a keyboard, I don't know, or they're going to figure out some way to innovate the keyboards next. That'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it if you guys come out with a Pwnage keyboard to match your mouse. That we could have a full Pwnage setup and we could review it as a whole unit then. But if you guys decide to just continue making mice, I'm cool with that too, as long as they continue to be on this quality, if not higher, and I'm sure that they will be. So I'm really impressed for them being such a small company. Otherwise, I want to give a huge shout out to my boy George, aka TNT. I will leave his YouTube channel linked in the description below. Thanks for letting me borrow your copy of this Pwnage mouse, and we'll probably do a follow-up video at some point in the near future once Pwnage releases the extra shells. But other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new. Again, we're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So everyone that watches this video, if you guys subscribe, gets us one step closer to that goal. So greatly appreciate it. If you guys are interested in picking up your own Pwnage mouse, I will have their Kickstarter linked in the description below. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to hit me up in the comment section or in the Discord. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you guys in the next video.